Ooh, you don't see how the light hitting it? You don't see how the light hit? Damn. God dang. Diosauria. Look like an air yam, like a Diosauria bulbifera. You see how that light hitting that dope, boy? Ooh. I'm finna go plant shopping. Alright, this is dope right here. You see the variegation on these leaves, okay? And the whole plant kind of look like this. Now, you got a couple different kinds of variegation. You got genetic, you got chimeral, and you got pathological, which is as a result of certain diseases. Now, I'm gonna keep it moving and I'll explain it on the way, because I'm in kind of a restricted part of the park right now, and I don't think I'm really supposed to be here, and the people over here. So I'm gonna keep it moving and explain this to you. Oh shit, I gotta go. Man, so I done got shut in this restricted area. I'm gonna go ahead and need to hop the gate, but before I do so, I just want to explain that plant to y'all really quickly. I was nerding out because you don't often see a chlorophyllous variegation to that degree in nature, and the reason why is because plants will either revert back to their green state or they'll die off. Plants need chlorophyll in order to photosynthesize. I don't need to explain that to y'all. I don't need to explain what photosynthesis is. I don't need to explain to y'all that chlorophyll, the green in the plants, helps them produce energy. I don't need to explain that they absorb light, and then they use their thylakoid membrane within their chloroplasts to synthesize that light and create NADPH, which will eventually turn into ADP, adenosine diphosphate, which will eventually turn into ATP, okay? And ATP will help them facilitate the creation of sugars, sugar being the energy source. All right, I don't need to explain that. Y'all already know that. But that's why plants are green. And so plants that have chlorophyllous variegation or achlorophyllous variegation, meaning that they're losing chlorophyll, can't photosynthesize properly. Now, every variegation isn't going to be chlorophyllous. Sometimes plants produce different pigments that might cover up the green, but the green is still there. But it looked like that plant was losing chlorophyll. Now, it looked like it was doing fine, so maybe it's in the process of reverting. I don't know. But let's find a way to get out of here, and we'll talk about some different plants. All right, so I know y'all caught that I kind of butchered and oversimplified photosynthesis to a pretty extreme degree, but gotta bear with me. I was kind of in a rush. Now, the important thing to take away is, oh, that's cool. Hold on. Y'all see that? I don't know if that's variegation or what, but the important thing to take away is plants will use light as a catalyst in order to produce simple sugars, which is the fuel. So they'll take carbon and water, okay, using light as using light as a catalyst. They'll take that carbon and water and produce simple sugar, C6H12O6, and also oxygen. Okay, so carbon plus water, all right, using light as a catalyst, will produce simple sugar and oxygen. We in the arboretum, by the way. That's why all these wacky plants around here. All right, now that's the important thing to take away about photosynthesis. In order to photosynthesize correctly, a plant needs chlorophyll A. All right, so yeah, that's that. Now let's actually get into some plant talk. So as much as flowers kind of bore me, I was looking for my passion flowers. Ain't none of them bloom. Well, one of them bloomed, but it's no longer blooming. They close up pretty quickly, but we got a little morning glory right here. That's cool. The thing about flowers is they're pretty to look at, but I don't really have much to say about them. There's a few flowers over here. Oh, hey. There's a few flowers over here I could talk about. So, all right, bet. For example, this right here, this blue one, is a Chinese forget-me-not. Okay, now this plant is interesting. It's part of the Boraginaceae family. All right, now I can't zoom in on my camera very well, but ooh, okay. So you got that 5-lobed corolla right here, and then I almost want to look. I can't really show y'all can't really show y'all the calyx from here, but you gonna have a 5-lobed calyx as well. And can you see the little hairs on this plant? Now the hairs, they kind of serve two purposes. All right, these hairs are calcium carbonate predominantly, and number one, they're reflective, which, I mean, we just talked about photosynthesis. I don't need to explain why having a reflective surface on an organism that likes light is important. But then also that calcium carbonate, those hairs are also a mild irritant. Okay, so they might make you a little itchy. They might make your skin a little red, not to the degree of something like poison ivy, but it's a slight defense mechanism. Now, if you really want to talk about defense mechanisms, these Chinese forget-me-nots they're mildly carcinogenic. Actually, they produce a pyrrolizidine alkaloid, and that pyrrolizidine alkaloid can really mess up your liver, and it can actually cause cancer as well. So what a lot of organisms, specifically like certain kinds of caterpillars and stuff, what they'll do is they'll actually, gnaw on these leaves in order to produce that those alkaloids in their own bodies, and it'll act as a natural defense mechanism for predators. So that's pretty cool. What else we got over here? We got these Cosmos sulphureus, aka yellow cosmos. Now these cosmos are part of the Asteraceae. All right, when I'm explaining these plants to y'all, now don't think that I'm just like Data from Star Trek. All right, like I just got all of this information just like a human encyclopedia. You could tell real easily how these are Asteraceae by the flower heads. Okay, so in Asteraceae, which is the sunflower family, you got a whole bunch of tiny little florets, on one big flower head. Okay, and that flower head is called a capitula. All right, so you got hella tiny florets on this capitula right here, and it just looks like one flower from a distance, but if you zoom in, okay, it's actually a whole bunch of different flowers. All right, now they're held together. You can see this flower is kind of bare. They're held together by these bracts. All right, but that's kind of Asteraceae in a nutshell. That's really all I got to say about this flower. I mean, it's pretty to look at, but they're kind of invasive actually. I don't know who planted these on purpose, but it wasn't a great idea. Now, since we're here, let me also talk about this Cataranthus rosus. This it's a periwinkle. It's a Madagascar periwinkle. Now, you know how I was just talking about these forget-me-nots, right? Now, this periwinkle right here is actually used in a lot of indigenous traditional medicine in order to fight certain sicknesses, and one of those sicknesses being cancer. Now, as much as I'm not really big on the herbalism stuff, this actually has also been synthesized by Western medicine producers as a treatment for cancer. Now, the messed up part about it is, Western medicine used this plant in order to create cancer treatment medications and profit off of them, as big pharma often does, but they didn't really give credit to how they even discovered that this plant was used for that, which is in indigenous Asian communities and traditions. So that's just something to kind of think about. I mean, that's big pharma for you. But what else I gotta say about these plants? Not much, man. I told you, flowers ain't really interesting. They're just plant sex parts. We're gonna keep it moving. Ooh. Alright, look, I'm gonna tell y'all what crazy. Me and that plant right here, we are kindred spirits. Alright? What do I mean when I say that? Well, this is a miracle. You know what? I can show y'all better than I can tell you. The great thing about being in an arboretum is that sometimes these plants got nameplates next to them, so you can see what you're looking at. That's for the laymen such as myself. So as you can see, this says miracle fruit, right? Now, this plant is originally endemic to West Africa, and at some point it was taken from West Africa, or more likely one of its ancestors in its lineage were taken from West Africa and brought here for, well, you see where this is going, right? All right. So actually this plant is real cool though, because it produces this fruit, and actually these are ripe. I could probably get one to show y'all, so check it out. It produces this fruit, and the fruit actually is delicious, but what it does is it produces a miraculin. Miraculin is a glycoprotein with also some complex carbohydrates, and what it does is basically it sticks to the tongue and it changes the flavor of certain foods for a certain amount of time. And so at one point, you know, people were actually using this fruit, especially people in the diabetic community were using this fruit just as an experimental way to see what foods they could eat without messing with their blood sugar too much. Because the good thing about this miracle fruit is it doesn't really affect the blood sugar too much on its own. And so they were seeing what foods they might not like but they could eat because of the changed flavor profile. Now, of course, as often happens in the American capitalistic system, especially when food and medicine are involved, if the powers that be can't make money off of it, then it's not gonna fly. So eventually, you know, this didn't really catch on, and it was classified as a food additive, which means people couldn't really use it in a mainstream sense. Now, of course, eventually the powers that be in big pharma came up with a pill that also produced a synthetic miraculin. But that's just a brief history on this miracle fruit, and I feel like an analogy for many other things, but we gonna leave that alone. Shout out to my West African cousin. Hey, we gonna keep it moving. Actually, you know what, my phone finna die anyway, so I'm gonna call it for today. But you know, y'all stay sexy out here, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Yeah, check it out. Over yonder you got you a little, damn, I can't see him through the, it's a little possum. Now, possums are the only marsupials that are living in the Americas, at least natively. Look, it's a little possum. They usually don't come out during the daytime. Huh.